Today on Hot Topic, we're going to discuss China. China.
All about China.
And more specifically, China's heating revolution. In just 2 decades, China has gone from hot springs and spas to the world's largest geothermal heating market.
We're talking about millions of homes and buildings staying warm in winter and cool during summer, all powered by the heat beneath our feet.
So how exactly did this transformation happen, and what does it mean for China's net zero ambitions? Let's dive in.
Welcome back to Hot Topic, our GeoTV segment where we take a look at the big themes shaping our geothermal sector. I'm Boel Stier.
And I'm Gabriella Skog. And this month we're zooming in on China. Every year, the geothermal community tracks who made it into the so-called Gigawatt Club. It's a way to spotlight developments in geothermal power production. But we're far less talkative about heating and cooling, which is strange, since heating accounts for half of the energy use globally. So that's a massive opportunity to decarbonize quietly underground.
Yeah, and in fact, China has, quietly if you will, become the world leader in this space. From hot springs to metro-wide geothermal heating in just 2 decades. And today we're unpacking how this happened and what it means to scale.
But let's start from the beginning. Geothermal definitely isn't a new thing for China. They've been using hot springs to bathe, clean, and cook in for thousands of years. But the game changer came when geothermal heat pumps came into the business in the late 20th century.
Right. By 2004, only about 7.7 million square meters of buildings were heated this way. It might sound a lot, and it is roughly the size of central Bangkok. But on the other hand, in a country with 1.4 billion inhabitants, it's just a drop in the hotspot.
But things took off fast. Policies during the 5-year plans mapped out resources, gave a green light for expansion, and integrated geothermal energy into urban energy planning.
From 2010 onward, geothermal heating grew over 20% annually, and by 2021, China had over 800 million square meters of shallow geothermal and another 500 million of those numbers of hydrothermal district heating.
And that's 1.3 billion square meters total, enough to serve tens of millions of homes. And major cities like Beijing and Tianjin became living labs for geothermal energy heating.
Add to that rising concerns over coal and air pollution, and suddenly geothermal energy made a lot of sense. Experts say that by 2030, geothermal heating could displace 77 million tons of coal annually. And that's roughly the same as the emissions from a medium-sized European country.
And the largest player in the Chinese geothermal sector is actually an oil and gas company, Sinopec. They are a state-owned oil giant, and they've become a geothermal pioneer, basically. It's the world's largest refining company, and they are a major player in the oil and gas field.
And it might surprise some that their geothermal heating arm is a joint venture with Arctic Green Energy from Iceland. Still, it seems logical given that, Iceland is a leader in geothermal energy.
For sure, and also a leader in geothermal heating. They heat 90% of their households with geothermal. Of course, there are still some challenges to China's geothermal development, like an uneven geology and high upfront costs. Power production and cooling are still lagging far behind geothermal heating.
But still, the future looks massive. Forecasts suggest that by 2060, geothermal could cover over 10 billion square meters of Chinese building space. And that's an increase of around 10 times compared to 2020.
And the climate impact could be huge. That much geothermal heating and cooling could account for 600 millions of tons of CO2 emissions. That's a huge deal, and it brings China a lot closer to their net zero ambitions.
So the bottom line, China has built the world's largest geothermal heating sector, and it's just getting started.
Clean energy clearly isn't just about wind turbines or solar panels, and geothermal is not just about power production. There's a quiet revolution going on in the heating and cooling of homes, and China truly is an extraordinary example.
It is. And what other stellar examples and hidden revolutions would you like us to cover? Please let us know.
We'll be back next month, of course, with new updates and stories from the world of geothermal.
And until then, stay curious, stay energized,
and stay hot.